Welcome to Inside View, the show where you get a view from the inside. I'm Sarah Lunsford, and my guests today are two kindness crusaders, Jim Bergantz and Heather Lovett. Hi, Heather. Hi, Jim. How are you doing?
Great. Hi.
Thanks for coming on the program. Now, first of all, what is a kindness crusader?
A kindness crusader is Heather Lovett. It's anybody who gets real excited about spreading the word of kindness and the message of kindness and what we're doing this year.
Okay.
Heather is a teacher at CFLC, and this year there are kindness crusaders throughout Calaveras County, and that's really the story.
Okay. Now, this started out with a seed of kindness.
It started out with an article in the San Francisco Chronicle about random acts of kindness, and my wife Judy read the article and kind of got excited about the idea that we should do things for one another for no particular reason, and that it was a good thing. And from that, we picked up this book, which she wrote about in the article, Random Acts of Kindness, and read the book, and then started a crusade for kindness in Calaveras County, specifically in Angels Camp.
Now, how long ago was this?
That was when we got it started. And I called up the folks with the book and National Coalition for Kindness, and they said that if you wanted to be a crusader for kindness or a coordinator in your community, you could just do it. I said, what do you have to do? They said, just send us your address. And so they sent a package of ideas, and included was a resolution for kindness and the idea of using ribbons, and as a whole stack of ideas and concepts. And so from that, Judy and I began the crusade, if you will, back in '95.
Okay, so it started out with an article in the San Francisco Chronicle.
Yes.
Now, before that, how did it get started, this sort of acts of kindness?
I think people were just being kind to one another, and then somebody decided to write a story about it, and then this book, again, is basically stories of random acts of kindness, one-page ideas of what ripples of kindness can happen in your community. And I think it caught on. Like anything, once somebody reads a book, then they get excited, and like we did, and then pretty soon it just takes off.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, what are some of the stories? Now, you hear about people going through the turnstiles of the Bay Bridge and, paying for the 5 cars behind them. Are these the type of stories that you read about? Or
actually, there are types of stories that you can contribute in Angels Camp every day.
Okay.
Whether you be waving to somebody on the side of the road, or sitting in Starbucks in the Starbucks line and paying for the person behind you, asking what they ordered, and and then with paying for their order, you can also hand them a ribbon.
Okay.
Say, pay it forward, and just tell the person behind me to spread random acts of kindness. And as a kindness crusader, you can do that in any positive way, whether that be cleaning up garbage on a campus or in the local school districts, or helping an elderly woman put their groceries in the car. So there's lots of different things that you can do.
It could be as simple as a smile, or it can be like, I have a neighbor, and we had that snowfall here a few weeks ago, and it snowed like 6 or 8 inches in like 20 minutes. The next thing that afternoon, I thought it was a UPS truck. It was my neighbor with his tractor clearing off our road. We live on a hill outside of Murphy's, and we don't get a lot of snow, and it was could have been dangerous, and he's just there taking care of the road, just on his own.
Yeah. So it could be just about anything.
Yes.
Could be.
Okay.
Make a difference in someone else's life by being kind. Choose kindness.
Okay.
Yes.
So as far as Random Acts of Kindness Week, it is the week of what?
February 15th.
Okay.
Through the 20th.
And is it the same week every year?
The National Foundation for Kindness picked Kindness Week right around Valentine's Day, so typically it's about the 3rd week. When we passed the proclamation for creating a Kindness Zone in Angels Camp back in '95, we picked the 17th of February as a day.
Okay.
But it's kind of evolved into a week, the idea that the schools could participate, the community community could participate as a week-long kindness week. So yes,
Okay.
it is that week this year, and it may be different the following year, but it's generally right around Valentine's Day.
Okay, and I'm going to take us back to '95 again and the Angels Camp Proclamation. How did that come about? Because that's a government body.
Well, it was when we got the book from the Max Kindness book and the kit. It talked about creating a kindness zone in your community,
Okay.
and they gave a format for what the proclamation might say or resolution might say. And so, so at the there's the sign. And by the way, we got a bunch of those this year. Anyhow, so what happened was we gave them the tools, which is kind of what we're doing this year with the kindness kits. We
Okay.
gave them the tools to create a proclamation. We asked the city council to in fact say that Angels Camp is a kindness zone.
Okay.
The city engineer bought us some signs, some kindness zone signs, and we hope to put them at the entrances to the city, which we still do today. And that got it started. And then from then, the government said, hey, it's a kindness zone, and so that kind of helped the kids move forward with some of their activities.
Okay. Now, how has it grown to this extent? Because how many schools are you giving kindness kits to this year?
22?
22 schools.
Plus CFLC.
Plus
Heather.
CFLC,
CFLC.
so 22 public schools, one
Right.
private school.
Correct.
And then churches?
Well, in the student body at Christian Family Learning Center, we take in students from across counties. And Jim and I spoke last year about, because we have such a wide range of students coming from Tuolumne County and San Andreas, and even though we're localized in Angels Camp, we have 29 churches that make up the students of CFLC. So what we're doing this year is many of the students are taking about 5 to 10 ribbons, or as many ribbons as the churches would like. And if they would like, they can always, if they like more ribbons, they can go on to theseedsofkindness.com and get ribbons on there.
Okay.
So our students are going to give ribbons to the 29 churches that they all make up across counties. So
Okay.
not only is kindness being spread in the ripple effect in Angels Camp, but we're bridging the gap to Tuolumne County as well as to the other places across.
Okay, and possibly Amador
area.
County as
Yes,
well.
definitely.
And ribbons will be available also. Another idea we had this year was to spread the kindness throughout the county. There are 17 bank locations we've identified in Calaveras County, and thanks to one of our kindness crusaders, Mr. Roger Wolds, who has contacted all the banks, that each bank will have at least 200 or more ribbons on their counter the 16th of
wow.
February. So they will
Okay.
be spreading that. And from that, Pacific State Bank, one of the banks, got so excited that they decided to have ribbons in all 9 branch locations in 5 counties. So yeah, we're making some ripples, and that's pretty exciting for all of us to be a part of. And then
Definitely.
churches, in addition to that, ribbons like FCC and Copper Canyon, and there's many.
The Refuge Church and Angels Camp, as well as Harmony Lifehouse and Murphy's and Copper
Okay.
Canyon Baptist and Church of the Harvest, I think I mentioned, and a few other, which is
Okay.
just local churches in the community that are, going to give a little commercial, so to speak, about how they can be kind to our neighbors and
Okay.
to the people around us.
And so those churches will have, 100 or 200 or 300 or whatever they need in ribbons. We will provide ribbons for all those churches.
Definitely.
And then on February 14th, Valentine's Day service, they'll have the ribbon and the message as part of their sermon that day.
Okay, okay. Now, how many ribbons do you have to give out?
Well, that's interesting. When Heather,
You've done a second order, I know.
Heather and the CFLC and FCC kind of jumped on board last year and were a part of, as they have been in the past. But Heather said to me, Jim, why don't we take this countywide? And I thought, well, how? And of course, wasn't enough time to figure it out. But then we thought about it, and so here we are. So yeah, the ribbons. How many ribbons? When we added up how many students and staff and principals were at the 22 schools in Calaveras County, the number came in around 7,000 students and another 2,000 or 3,000 staff people. So
wow.
So it was about 10,000. So I remember talking to John Brophy about taking this into the schools, and he said it's a great idea. We want to work with you. We want to help you. So that gave us the green light to contact the schools. So through John Brophy and through the superintendents of each district, we began an email campaign and also met with them. And to answer the question, 13,000 ribbons was our first purchase. This last week we just ordered 10,000 more because we've already run out of the 13,000.
Yeah.
We have
Wow.
16,000 requests.
So that's half the population of Calaveras County in ribbons.
And we're hoping to be able to find homes for those 10,000. Most of them
Okay.
are already
Definitely.
committed, but we're reaching out. And if you
Okay.
want to get a ribbon,
You can always go
Okay. Make sure they put the in there.
seedsofkindness.com, where you can go on there and share your stories. If somehow you came across somebody and you're sitting in the Starbucks line and somebody in front of you bought your Starbucks for you and you got a ribbon, there's so many opportunities where you can go online and share, or you can mail it back to the local office, which is located where exactly?
Or you can mail it back to the CCOE, or you can go again on the website and mail it to Post Office Box 677. And our idea is that when the ribbon is passed around the Week of Kindness, that you either keep the ribbon in your home or place of work to remind you that kindness is important and to practice kindness, or you can mail it back. And our thought was to make a big, like a case of ribbons and stories, and then post them like at the schools and the City Hall and the Government Center and different places. So we could like put the ribbons up, because really the whole thing
hold up
here,
one of the ribbons so that.
Go ahead.
Let me see.
The whole thing with the ribbons is to let them be a beacon of kindness, and as they're worn and passed around. And we see ribbons with signatures on the front and the back everywhere, just a whole bunch of signatures.
So someone would do an act of kindness, a random act of kindness, and they would sign this. Is this how this works?
Or if you saw somebody, then you sign it.
Okay. Or you see somebody do that.
You'd start by receiving the ribbon and wearing it proudly with your name on it, and then somebody would say, "Well, what's that?" You know, and then you'd have a chance to talk about kindness, which is the idea. And then when you notice an act of kindness, or if you know a kind person and you want to say that was really nice what you did, then you share the ribbon with them. And the idea is that you should give your ribbon away quickly, you know.
And
then the ribbon would
hopefully you'll receive one.
Hopefully you'll get one.
You know, by doing something kind, you'll receive one back too. It's kind of a pay it forward.
The most important part of all of this is not what Heather and I are doing, or our team of kindness volunteers are doing. It is what the people will do when they get the ribbon and get the message, and that we will give that gift to them, a gift of kindness, and that they will maybe take it and create some ripples in their home, in their workplace, in their community. And judging by the reception of the schools, it's just, I mean, people really are excited, and so we're just very hopeful.
And this is actually a kindness kit that you are giving to the schools. Let me see if I can center that right now. And this actually, what comprises this is right here. There's a shirt.
Yeah, there's an official Kindness Crusader T-shirt for each school.
Back.
And so if you see somebody wearing that, you can thank them for being one of our team members.
Or you can be a Crusader.
Okay, and you can put on the button.
And we created a whole bunch of buttons, and so the folks that are going to be giving the ribbons out in front of Starbucks or different places in town on that Tuesday would probably be wearing a ribbon and a button, and be spreading the message. And then we also included bolts of ribbon, so each school got 600 feet of ribbon to tie.
And we'll be tying those around the local businesses. We go to doctor's offices.
Okay.
I mean, just all the community businesses, as well as in Murphy's. And
well, actually, the Murphy's and Angels Camp with Michelson and Mark Twain have done the ribbons for years. This year, the ribbons, the kit goes to all the other schools. So there could be ribbons in Arnold and West Point, Railroad Flat, Colony Hill, Toyon. We hope Valley Springs. We hope they'll be across everywhere.
Certainly. And so tourists can come and visit, and hopefully maybe a tourist from a different county or a different place might receive a button, and that will keep Calaveras County.
So it'll be kind of a sea of blue then, hopefully a sea of blue.
And with the ribbons, we also, Sarah, printed up this little instruction card, which at the banks they'll have those on the counters, and the Kindness Crusaders will be handing those out. And that just kind of says, check out our website, here's what you do with the ribbon, which is we've already gone over. It just helps them get in the spirit of the whole, what we're trying to accomplish.
Okay. Now, are classes going to be going out? Like they did, I think they did last year. They went out and actually tied the bolts of ribbon around like Murphy's.
Yes, Murphy's. Michelson School does that in Murphy's every year, and of course in Angels Camp.
At CFLC, last year was the first year we implemented the Random Acts of Kindness, which was a really big thing for Christian Family Learning Center, and we love being a part of it. And this year, the 3rd and 4th graders are in locations in certain streets in Angels Camp, and we'll be tying the ribbon around the businesses.
And Mark Twain will be
on the other half. staff.
Right, and they'll be doing that on that
okay.
Tuesday, the 16th
The
of February.
16th of February.
And then Mark Twain has its Hero Essay Competition, which is a student to pick out something nice about somebody in their family or in their community that is exemplifying kindness by just being ordinarily just good and kind. And they write a story about it, and then the City Council is kind enough to allow all the students and their heroes to appear publicly, and then the student reads his or her essay and says, hey, this is my kindness hero and this is why. And if you haven't attended that, it'll be the 16th of February 2010. It'll be at Bret Hart Performing Arts Center, and it will be part of the City Council meeting as it always has been, and it'll be wonderful. So.
Yeah, I mean, you get to see your local students, your local kids in your community being able to share their written work about people who are making a difference here in our county and in our community.
That's really, that's what we're trying to say is be kind, share kindness, be a kindness crusader. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get everybody on our team, if you will, to take this message and pass it forward.
Yeah. Good fruit. Kindness is a good fruit.
Now, how is this funded? How is this paid for?
It's interesting. It costs nothing for the schools to get all their kindness kits. In order for a project to work, you need donations.
Yes.
So once we got excited about moving it forward and talked to John Brophy at the school, he suggested that we work with them. So the donations are sent to my post office box in Murphy's on the website, and then I take the checks over to the County Office of Education. They have a special kindness fund.
Okay.
So donations are tax deductible, and they're made by individuals and businesses and organizations in and around Calaveras County, and you can go to the website, theseedsoFkindness.com.
The Seeds of Kindness. The Seeds of Kindness.
And it has the information on how to make a donation, and we've raised nearly $4,000, and we need a little more since we bought 10,000 more ribbons. We're not quite there, so we're hoping that people will get excited and come alongside of us and kind of help move this thing forward a little bit more.
Move it forward a little bit more. So we have a few weeks. Well, actually, a couple weeks until the actual week. And how do you see this playing out in the future?
I'm looking at it as a domino effect. It wasn't that long ago when I was a Mark Twain Badger and I was participating in Random Acts of Kindness, and it was a week that I always remembered.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why, after talking with Jim Bergantz last year, we decided to get CFLC, where I'm currently teaching, involved. Because I remember how much of just a positive encouragement, instruction, and character building moment in a week it was for me at a young age, and I remember it. So.
I think it fits in really well with the County Office of Education curriculum, current curriculum that Bret Hart and the other school districts. And the teachers are trying to model kindness and encourage kindness. So it's not like they aren't doing it. It's just that this gives them something to get excited about. And again, getting leadership kids, students in these schools to kind of take the kit and move forward. So where does it go in the future? Well, it started in Angels Camp. It started in a book and an idea. Now it's moved throughout Calaveras County.
Crossing counties.
Pretty soon we're going to cross lots of counties, and I mean, why not just take this? Why not make a kindness generation? How about the
be positive,
decade
kind.
of kindness? Okay, so where will it go? I don't know, but we're excited, we're humbled, we're proud, right, to be a part of it, and we need others to come alongside and be join in this whole movement, this kindness movement, and we're excited.
Now, as far as this year, you have an actual kindness committee because you need the leaders actually to sort of spearhead something like this. How many people are actually on the committee?
It's hard to say. I have an email list. You're on it.
I'm on the list, yes.
We call them Friends of Kindness or Kindness team members. We've got active and shall we say supportive, and then we've got some that are really out there in front. And Roger Wold and Billy and Paul Westernoff and myself and Maria Chimene and my daughter Jill have been real active at the meetings. And sometimes the meetings are only 2 or 3 people. But with email, we've kind of got a group of crusaders, right?
Exactly.
And by doing the email and keeping the information flowing, the ideas are being, I guess, absorbed, if you will, and people are jumping on board with it. And so it's hard to say how many there are. We have a list of some of the ones on the website that are pretty active, but it's growing, and we're just kind of just a bunch of friends getting together to do something good, and it's cool.
Okay. Now, how does this interplay with the planting that goes down in Angels Camp that you spearheaded a few years
Well,
ago?
we did a thing when I was working with Bret Harte High School where the kids, we worked at the greenhouse there trying to get the greenhouse, I guess, back online, if you will, or refurbished. And that was a great project, working with the FFA and Roy and Carrie and Mike Chimene in the school. And it was fun to do that because I'm a nurseryman, so I have this little bit of knowledge in that area. And so that was cool. So, but the kids grew the plants, and of course we took them downtown and planted them in the barrels. And we worked with the Calaveras County Garden Club and myself and the students, and they grew the plants, and then the merchants bought them, or the association, I guess, bought them. So the association also donated to get the greenhouse going. So kind of a work together kind of a thing. And their flowers are still down there, and the merchants still plant them every year. And I believe the kids are still growing color for the downtown barrels.
Okay, I wasn't sure with the seeds sort of thought if they were interconnected some way.
Yeah, when we started the kindness effort, I guess, if you will, in Angels Camp, when my daughter Jill and my daughter Janie were not very big, very tiny, very young. Now they're young ladies, but anyhow, when they were younger, we would go around and we used to have a nursery, and of course we took flowers and we would plant them in front of businesses, and we were modeling kindness for our kids and saying this is a nice thing to do, and that's random kindness. It's just like seeing an opportunity and making a decision and doing something nice, and it can be very little or it can be quite
big.
Large, and it's like it's a mindset, right? And so that's
you
what
can step out of your comfort zone too, and just definitely just step out and just do something kind to one another. I mean, who doesn't like somebody to do something kind? Or who doesn't like talking to a kind person, or seeing someone in the grocery store and just receiving a simple smile and a joy and kindness and just everything that flows from it. It's just so positive.
Yeah.
Definitely positive is the good word for
Foothill Village is a big part of it. Foothill Village and Angels Camp, and Debbie Pawnee and Jessica Corley, they're on the team, and the kids always go and read their essays from Mark Twain. And in Michelson, they're working on a musical performance that they do, and I guess they've got a kindness song. Debbie Rocco's really doing something special up there, and so they go and perform for the folks at Foothill. And you know, there's an act. I mean, you can go see somebody at Foothill. You can just go by and talk with somebody.
Say hi.
You know, exactly.
Yes.
They're lonely, so there's an act of kindness. So it could be anything, and you know.
Okay. Now, how do you teach children about kindness? Because we don't actually live in a society that is we're very kind to each other. How do you teach a child about that?
I think that the first step in teaching a child about kindness is being kind yourself. Because so often you look and you see people, and children know. They have this sense of what's right and wrong and who's kind and what's mean and whatnot. And so students always know whether their teacher likes them or not. And so I think one of the ways that you can teach children kindness is by being kind yourself and modeling kindness to other people, your neighbors, and most importantly, being kind to children, because they are so important. They are our future, and our future is in their hands, so to speak, when we're older. And one of the best ways to teach kindness is through like what we're doing here, sharing kindness, doing something kind, getting ideas from the kids. What do you think is doing something kind for somebody? And the students raise their hands. How could you show kindness to your mother, to your father, in your household, to your friends, to your neighbors, to your grandparents? And just spread it that way.
There are links, again, on our website to the National Acts of Kindness, National Random Acts of Kindness website, and I think it's actsofkindness.org. Anyhow, there's a bunch of resources for teachers. I'm sure you've probably been there, and ideas. So it's not like inventing the wheel. For you can just go and figure out what other people are doing. And if I was a teacher, if I was Heather, I would be spending some time with my students, looking at this and saying, well, what do you think is cool, and then let them drive the bus. I mean, that's what when you make it, when they make it theirs, you know, we're excited. We just want to transfer that, right? And then they get excited, and then then your work is kind of done. It's like you just support it, and that's what we're doing with the kits. And the idea is like giving the teachers the tools, giving the Kindness Crusaders the tools, and then saying, go make something happen. Go start a garden of kindness.
And it's a domino effect. Definitely, it ripples all over campus and school and.
But with the different age groups, I imagine you'd have different projects or different I guess it would be projects.
Yes,
when you're trying to
definitely.
teach them kindness.
Well, last year, I understand the Interact students at Bret Harte spent some time with the Mark Twain students. So the mentoring thing,
okay.
I mean, that would be wonderful if we could get that going with the high school age students, if they got excited in leadership classes. And they have the Friday Night Live, which is kind of like that, I guess. And
Sure.
so a lot of activities that are there where the older students are looked up to, right, and,
Yes.
and admired, so they can set the bar as to, what is it that you should be doing. So we're hoping for those kinds of things to happen.
And CFLC, they're doing that. We're taking our 7th and 8th graders, and we're going to Angels Preschool. And the 7th and 8th graders will be reading books, and most importantly, kindness books, and showing good morale and the moral of the story is, so to speak, to the children. And I think that that's a really great way that we, as the older kids, can mentor the smaller kids
And-
to get them excited about reading and, most importantly, about being kind.
Okay, and teaching them
Yeah.
about what it is to be kind.
Yes.
Now, I noticed that you have sort of this very nice, I want to say very cool, but very nice design on here. Who designed this?
There's an act of kindness. A friend of mine, good friend of mine, Dale Huey, Angels Camp resident and artist, and I were talking about what we're doing this year with the Ripples. I mean, the Ripples thing kind of came from, Heather and I talking last year about taking it past Angels Camp, and
Yes.
so I thought, well, let's make ripples. You throw a stone in a pond, and one little stone,
Exactly.
and what does that do? Think about it. It's big. So I thought ripples. I kept thinking ripples. So I said, Dale, he's a great artist, good friend. I said, Dale, what could you do? He goes, well, I'll think about it. So a couple of weeks later, Dale, what have you done? Okay, Jim, okay. So it took a little while, but soon he had a concept, and then he wasn't happy. He wanted to keep tweaking the ripples. But when I saw the hands with the hearts, and the hearts are kind of seeds, if you will, I guess, right?
Sure.
And then the one big seed, they come together and make one big impression, and then the ripples. So when I saw that, I think, Heather and I don't need to say anything. If you see the ripples and you see seeds of kindness, you get it. And this embodies what we're trying to do. We're trying to say, you have a couple hands, go out and do something positive and make a difference in the world. And I think Dale
It only takes one
hit
to
it.
make a difference, too. And we never know the effect that we've had on somebody's life.
And how good does it feel? I mean, you're driving down the road and you let somebody go first. You let them make a left turn. They're almost surprised. You don't want to cause an accident. You're sure there's nobody behind you, right? But I mean, just smiling, just saying, I was on a flight recently, and I stopped and looked at the pilot, and I'm a pilot, and I said, that was an awesome landing. You did a good job. And the pilot just beamed, and I thought, how many people, they're in a hurry to get off I'm in a hurry too,
Yeah.
but to stop and just leave some positive comment. So we can all do that with compliments and courtesy.
And thankfulness, too.
Thankfulness, yeah. It just takes, you have to have that, you have to be thinking about it.
You have to look for the moments.
Look for the moment and then choose it, and then do something. So,
Exactly.
and I think, there's one guy it's on the website. It's a million acts of kindness, and he wants people to do a million acts of kindness in their lifetime. And he says it's like 50 a day for 55 years. So I'm just saying, let's start with one.
Okay.
Let's maybe do two, and so put it in your
See
head.
where it
And
goes.
this guy
Yes.
sold his house, and he's got a bus, and he's driving around the universe, driving around college campuses, spreading the message of kindness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
millionactsofkindness.com. He's on the website. So maybe we can get him to come here, I hope.
So the website is again.
TheSeedsOfKindness.com.
Okay.
The seedsofkindness.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And people can go on there, they can find a place to donate, place to just
can-
resources,
Activities, information. And
Share the
we
stories.
hope share stories. We hope people will start sending us some of the stories from the ripples of kindness that we hopefully have created a little bit of, and send us their stories so that we can begin to post them. And of course, it's a resource for the schools too. And we're posting information on what they're doing, each school's doing, as we understand what it is that how they'll participate.